Have you ever bitten into a piece of jerky expecting tender chewiness only to find yourself struggling with a tough, stringy strip? Or perhaps you enjoy a good chewy jerky, but sometimes it just feels a little too much like work. The secret to controlling your jerky's texture lies in one simple technique. For most types of jerky, especially if you are aiming for a more tender and easier to chew result, you should slice the meat against the grain. However, if you prefer a very tough, traditional, and long-lasting chew, slicing with the grain is your preferred method. The reason behind this advice comes down to the basic structure of meat. Muscle is made up of long, parallel fibers. Think of them like tiny, tightly packed bundles of rope. When you slice meat against the grain, you are cutting across these fibers, making them shorter. This means that when you chew a piece of jerky cut against the grain, you are breaking down many short fibers, which requires less effort. If you slice with the grain, you leave those long fibers intact. When dried, these long, parallel fibers become very tough and stringy, creating a much more significant challenge for your jaw. To put this into practice, first, lay your cut of meat flat and look closely at its surface. You will see faint lines running in one direction. These are your muscle fibers, or the grain. If you want tender jerky, orient your knife blade perpendicular to these lines and slice straight down. If you are going for that extra chewy texture, align your knife parallel to the grain before slicing. For easier and more consistent thin slices, try partially freezing your meat for about 30 to 60 minutes before you start cutting. This firms up the muscle, making it less prone to tearing and easier to manage with your knife. Beyond texture, slicing technique also impacts how well your marinade penetrates the meat. Slicing against the grain, by effectively exposing more of those cut fiber ends, creates more surface area for your chosen flavors to soak in. This leads to a richer, more evenly seasoned piece of jerky. Think of it as opening up tiny highways for your spices and seasonings to travel through the meat, ensuring every bite is bursting with flavor, from the surface right to the core. Mastering this slicing technique is a game changer for homemade jerky. Understanding how to properly slice against or with the grain gives you complete control over the final texture, allowing you to create anything from melt-in-your-mouth tender to intensely chewy jerky. This simple step transforms your effort into consistently delicious, perfectly textured, and wonderfully flavorful carnivorous snacks every single time.